play Oklahoma?
Yeah, it's different. I mean, you've always looked ahead to this game, seen it on the schedule, and now it's here. We know what the task is. We know we're going down there at night, big time showdown. So it's a different feel for sure.
Is there a little bit of a sense, like it was at the end of 2014, kind of taking on the world? I mean, first two games you're at home, you're against underdog opponents. Now, even though you're favored, there's still a lot of people going to be questioning, okay, how good is this Ohio State team?
Yeah, it's gonna be fun going down there and seeing how everyone shows up. It's they're a great team. I was just watching some film on them. They got great players, so it's going to be a fun matchup.
Coach Meyer was saying that when he has a veteran team, he kind of knows what to expect from them going on the road. But this is not. You're one of the veterans, but this is not a veteran team. Do you? I don't know. Spend more time this week talking about. I know it's an environment you haven't been in either,
right.
but what it's like for guys going on the road, maybe for their first time, or at least playing a lot for the first time.
Yeah, and we started on them yesterday after practice. Watching some film, and I was just in there with Jamarca, and we're gonna have to get him ready, and Isaiah and Mike Jordan, those guys who haven't been in a hostile environment like this at night, in this big of a game. So yeah, we're gonna get them ready, probably pump some crowd noise in during practice, make it hard to communicate so we get used to that. And yeah, we gotta get those guys ready and get them prepared for what they're gonna see.
How would you say the line has played? You've been a two-time champion, and Billy got it this week, but the other guys haven't. I mean, how would you assess where the line is right now?
I'm not worried by any means. We're getting better. We had a lot of stuff thrown at us last week, and I think it was good to get some experience with that stuff. So I'm sure Oklahoma will see that too and try and throw some of that at us to cut us off balance a little bit. But it's a work in progress. It was good film to learn from and make those adjustments and improvements, and I think it was good we saw all that with how young we are.
Hey Pat, when it's so loud that in a stadium that you can't hear or are having trouble hearing, what can you do as an offensive line to make sure the offense still runs smoothly?
You just got to be ready, and work at it in practice. If I can't make the calls or they can't hear the calls I'm making, then they need to know what calls I would be making. They have to have their heads up and seeing what's going on in case I can't make them or they can't hear it. So this goes down to practice and getting prepared, and they need to be able to make the calls themselves if they can't hear me.
Have you been in a situation like that before where you've had to do things like that because it's been so loud?
Oh yeah, Penn State's loud. The Sugar Bowl was loud. So yeah, you have to just know the calls, know what's going to have to be made if they bring something.
How much of a concern is it that you guys have taken a few penalties up front already this year?
It's not a concern. It's just stuff we can work on, and some of the calls I don't necessarily agree with. But just the false start. Some of those are just penalties that we can fix.
Coach said today he was worried about running the ball against those great big defensive linemen Oklahoma has. Is that a concern you share as well?
No. I think we can run the ball in there. Yeah, there's some big dudes, and they play hard. They're good players, but I think we'll be able to run the ball against them.
There'll be so many eyes on the game this week. They all go to JT a lot. Do you get excited? Are you almost a fan of him to watch and see what he does on a weekly basis, maybe when he gets past the line or when he throws one downfield?
Yeah, I mean, I always say JT's the man, and he's a great leader, and I always try to learn from him. As a leader myself, always trying to grow and expand my knowledge and just kind of watch him. So yeah, and he's fun to be around, and he's a great practice player too.
In the film that you've seen of them, Pat, what jumps out at you defensively about them? You mentioned their size up front.
Yeah, they're big. They're good with their hands. They play hard. They remind me of Alabama's interior linemen when we played them. Big, strong dudes in there.
Pat, when you are playing a team this good on the road this early in the year,
does it sort of just like force this team? Ohio State has to play its best on Saturday. You know, like when not every year do you have a top 10 caliber opponent on the road in the first month.
Yeah, I mean, to get to where we want to go to reach our goals, we have to play well on Saturday, and it kind of forces us to kind of grow up a little bit. So it's going to be it's a big week of practice, big week for us to get ready to go down there and do that, especially with the guys who haven't done that yet. So it's a big week of preparation ahead of us.
What tells you this team is ready for that, Pat?
We don't have to be ready today or Tuesday. We have to be ready on Saturday. So I think we will be ready. Are we ready right now? No, we're not, but we will be.
Well, when you watch the young guys on the offensive line Saturday who made some mistakes, because they didn't grade out like you and Billy did, was it just hesitation? What are the things that can be fixed in that regard?
Just
or were fixed actually in the second half?
Yeah, a lot of the young guys in there, and them blitzing so much and moving, and everything's just kind of chaos, and they're throwing stuff left and right. Just being able to be calm. You know, they're already in there for their second start. They're already nervous, and with everything getting thrown at them, just being able to stay calm and recognize what they're throwing and just execute. So there's a couple of different factors in there that kind of maybe led to that, but we got it fixed, and we learned from it yesterday. So,
what have you learned about this offense overall in the first two games that maybe going into the season you weren't sure about with all these young guys?
Pretty explosive. You know, those Curtis Samuel and Dontre and JT, Mike Weber, if we get their job done up front and everyone blocks, then those guys can really ignite the flame.
But I have a question that's going to take me like a minute to explain.
Okay.
Will you bear with me?
All right.
All right. So, guys, you and Raekwon and guys who've been around, right? You're a national champion. You were an important part of a national championship team 2 years ago. You know what it takes to be the best team in the country. You were part of a team last year that had unbelievable talent, but didn't ultimately get where you wanted to get, right?
Right.
Now here you are. You're a veteran. It's the third game of the year. You're going on the road. We know how important this game is for this team, right? What is this feeling for you as someone who's been through all of that? Last year was great, right? But I would wonder maybe you guys have some little bit of like, man, you know, we had a huge game we had to win last year. We didn't quite get it done. Now here you are back in a spot, another huge game. For Pat Elflien, all of that building to another chance to show how good Ohio State is. What does that mean this week?
It just means we have to, in the way we prepared in 2014, we have to teach those young guys how to prepare like that. You know, if it's watching extra film or, you know, trying to get that last little nugget of a tendency they do, or pretty much just doing whatever you can. Don't leave any stone unturned heading into this game. And that's what we're going to have to show those young guys what to do. Like later we're going to come in, we're going to watch the Oregon National Championship game just because they run similar defenses. And I just talked to Coach and just watching how hard we played that game and trying to show like Michael Jordan, Isaiah, how to play that hard. You know, what better way than to actually watch it. So we're going to watch that later, and you know, we need to play like that Saturday if we want to, you know, win.
Do you get a sense from those guys that they are going to need much encouraging to like know that that's what it takes? I mean, you've been around, like Doug was saying, for 5 years now, and Mike's been here for 6 months. You know, like they're 8 months, whatever it is. Like, do you get a sense that they're going to need a lot of time to really like see? Okay, we need to do this because Oklahoma's a real opponent.
I think they're going to go out and play hard. I just think, you know, watching that championship film, seeing us do that, you know, over and over and over again, and seeing what it takes to win a big time game like this. You know, this is a big time game for. They haven't been in something like that yet, so just showing them how to play in these big time games and how to approach it and attack it. They're gonna have to learn real quick.
Do you see the eagerness and the want and the drive in them to be able to prepare the way that is necessary to win a national championship and win big time games like this?
Yeah, I do. I think we're okay in that aspect, and everyone wants to do good. No one wants to, you know, half-ass it. So.
Whose idea was it to watch the title game? You know,
Coach Meyer.
So you understand too. I mean, a guy that's been through as enough as you, in 2014, you knew exactly what it took to be the best, right? And then the idea of you guys were so talented, but you have to be your best in every big game.
Right.
Like you guys just weren't your best against Michigan State last year, right? Then maybe you were against Michigan and Notre Dame. I just think that opportunity of like, we know we're talented, right?
Right.
But you can't just be talented. You've got to play your best.
Right.
It's a great team on Saturday, like channeling that. I guess it's what the whole thing is all about. But
Right.
this is like another opportunity that doesn't happen every week, right? Because you're just not playing that team every week.
Right.
What's it like, those opportunities to channel the opportunity to be the best that you can be? Even when you're talented, you still have to show it, right?
Right. Yeah, you got to show up. You know, in these games, if you don't show up, then obviously you've seen what happens. And you always revert back to, Coach Meyer always says this in the big time games is the most prepared team will win. So you don't win the game on Saturday, you win the game on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. And then the final product's on the field Saturday. So it's going to start tomorrow, and it's going to be some real practices this week, and that's where you start to channel that. It doesn't like I said, you don't win the game Saturday, you win it on Tuesday and Wednesday.
You were kind of thrown into the fire in Michigan in 2013 as a young guy. Does that experience help you kind of get the younger guys on this team ready for playing in a hostile environment as young players, guys like Michael Jordan and Isaiah?
Yeah, it does. And I just go back to what I just said is, preparation. I practiced really hard, even though I wasn't the starter. But I was going to be ready. If I was a starter, there was no chance that we were going to lose because of me if I was in. So that's why I wanted to just prepare really, really hard. So you don't want to let those guys down. So I'm going to approach it the same way and show them you got to be ready. It starts in practice. We go against great D linemen every day and great linebackers every day. So to get ready to go against that on Saturday, you have to do it Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and get ready to go. Put it on the field.
You knew you were going to get Oklahoma's best shot, regardless of what the circumstances were. But now they already have a loss, so this is in effect kind of an elimination game for them. And Oklahoma's a home underdog for the first time in 16 years. You feel like that only intensifies an already pretty intense challenge for you guys?
Oh yeah. We get we get the best shot from every team we play. It doesn't matter who it is, we're going to get their best shot. And, like facing a big time opponent with already lost, I'm sure they've got some fire, and they're going to give us everything they got.